Welcome, fellow adventurers. It is day 81, and we are in North Vietnam in Halong Bay. Halong Bay is not far from the China border, and it's about 100 miles east of Hanoi. Halong Bay means the Bay of Descending Dragon in the Vietnamese language. And there is a dense cluster of monolithic limestone islands called Karst, K-A-R-S-T. We are at Halong Bay, Vietnam, and we're looking out in the water, and these limestone structures, which they call karsts, are formed by thousands of years of erosion to the limestone. And it is Sunday here, so many of these boats here are just hanging out waiting for going back to work. Many of them are fishermen. Lots of people live on these boats as well. And it is really interesting to see how different people live throughout Vietnam. There's just about under 2,000 of them in the bay. And as we came into the area, these limestone islands were available to see about an hour until we got to Halong Bay, and many people went out on the top of the ship to watch, even though the weather was very cloudy and cold. These karsts are made from limestone and erosion due to rain, wind, and the elements. And the unusual shapes are interpreted by many of the people as all kinds of different things, from animals to incense burners. In fact, one of them we looked at looked like a chicken and a rooster. They look as though they are kissing each other. In 1994, this area became a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and we took a junk out the next day to look at the bay and see all the different karsts, as well as to go into this amazing cave, one of the best caves we'd ever seen in all of our travels. Halong Bay, the city, is very similar to a lot of Asian countries that we have visited. They have built this city up so much since I was here in 2005, I hardly recognized the place. In fact, there is a huge amusement park like a Disneyland called Sun World, and it is open, and it reaches on two different sides of the bay. In fact, there is a double-decker tram that holds over 200 people, taking you from the city of Halong Bay to another island where they continue the amusement park. And the tram goes to the top of a mountain where there is a Ferris wheel, all kinds of rides. In fact, they are continuing to build out the park. And when it is finished, it's going to handle thousands of tourists. And on the Halong side, there's not only the amusement park, but there is a gigantic water park as well. In order to accommodate all these tourists, there is a huge explosion of growth of skyscrapers, hotels, etc., to handle the amount of people coming into this area. And frankly, I found it unrecognizable from the last time I was there in 2005. They have also built what I call a sea walk area full of restaurants, foot massage shops, as well as souvenir shops, and also selling all kinds of wood carvings as well. In fact, if you were hungry, you could pick out live fish right out of these water pails where they would have them, and they would cook them for you for dinner. In fact, I understand that is the way that the Vietnamese like to eat. We actually took a bus over to the island where the tram goes, and they had a huge traditional Asian market full of fruits, vegetables, and I was so surprised to see chicken feet. Anyone hungry for chicken feet? Here you go. If you are, they're right here waiting for you. Also, there were many ladies that were frying up, it looked like donuts or some type of dumpling in oil. that were being sold in the many concession stands. We were there during a Sunday, so many of the boats in the harbor were just sitting, and you could see the families were living on some of these junks, is what they call them, and cooking. You could see they had their clothes that they were washing and getting ready for the next day to go to work. Our original plan was to do the junk on the afternoon when we came to Halong Bay and then go to Hanoi. Unfortunately, because of bad weather and waves, etc., we did not arrive soon enough, so the decision was made that we wanted the next day to spend that going out on Halong Bay on a junk boat in the bay. As a result, we did not go to Hanoi, and I had been there and I was real excited about taking my family back, and I've heard that that city as well has changed so much and grown. In fact, the traffic has gotten extremely congested, and there wasn't infrastructure to take care of the growth. Similar to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City in the south, there are so many motor scooters on the streets, and it is really fun to watch how they have kind of a zen way of moving through the traffic, and you're certain at any minute there's going to be an accident, but for the most part there isn't. Hanoi is the capital city for Vietnam, and I understand that is still, even with all the growth, a pretty slow-paced, easygoing, pleasant environment to be in. In the late 1800s, the French came to Hanoi and built some beautiful buildings and boulevards, which makes it a very livable city. And even during the Vietnam War, when Hanoi was bombed extensively, there are still a lot of the buildings that survived the war. I hope someday you'll be able to go to Vietnam as well. However, tonight we're going to be leaving on the ship and we'll be on our way to Sanya, China. In closing, my wish for you is that you will love abundantly, protect your health, and be adventurous for life. You are beautiful. Let your light shine. Aloha.